On this top left picture, we can see that's with a tooth, and we can see there's some chalkiness. Well, it depends. How clean is the surface that we're looking at? What are you looking through? I'm a great believer that all clinicians need to, and I said all, and I don't really like using global words very much, but it's time for everybody to start wearing loupes and using headlights with loupes, in my opinion. First of all, it's for your ergonomics first, but second of all, is it really improves your vision. I bet you if we could have a show of hands here, if anybody that wears loupes, would you ever want to work without them? Wearing loupes is really important so we have better visualization, but there's still limits to our visualization. With the second image, what we're looking at is we're looking at the image under the spectra light with the fluorescence. Now we can see that we have some either red or green. The red means there is something going on. The green means that sounds tooth structure. With the physics software, again from the Spectra, what it does is it analyzes, and now it starts giving us more images. It gives us more of the spectrum of what's going on. In each of these colors means something. And again, along with that, we get a number. That's another thing for me that is really important, that numeric score. For a long time in our documentation, we've been using words like medium and light. I always wonder, is medium bleeding, is that to my first knuckle or second? A numeric score is something very different. When we have something that we say is 3.5 versus a 3.2 versus a 2.8, those are all very different, aren't they? And giving that numeric score is a really powerful part of information. The way that the colorization goes, it's kind of like Doppler radar. And depending where you are, some of us get to see Doppler radar a lot more often. I'm in the Chicago area, and our joke is always, if you don't like our weather, wait a minute. So we get a little bit of everything. And unfortunately, our friends out in Oklahoma, of course, they've had lots with the tornadoes a lot, as well as a lot of other areas in our country. You see, it's the colorization. And we know with the storm fronts, we have the darker the red, the darker the color, that means the closer they are to have the big problem. And that's really what we have with the Spectra, is this light. Now, this is the color, and this is the color display, and this is the numeric range. So we have in the green zone, that means you have sound enamel, and the number that goes with it is going to be less than 1. When it turns in the blue range, you've got that range that's going to be 0 to 1.5, and as you can see, we have areas here that are blue. And that's initial. That's the beginning. That's the start of the enamel cavitation. This is where we do the primary prevention. We haven't got the cavitation. We aren't as broken down. That's where our opportunity really lies. When we get into the red zone, which is the 1.5 to the 2, we've got some deep enamel breakdown. We've got the deep enamel breakdown, and we still have an opportunity to heal. We still can reverse the process. We get into the orange range. We've got the dentin breakdown. It's 2 to 2.5. And again, can we still heal? Well, is it closer to 2.5? And what are the risk factors do we have? What are the situations? Because it's not a single reason that we're going to either do something to the tooth or not do something to the tooth. There's more than a single risk factor that we're looking at. If we have the 2.5 to 3 in that yellow zone, then we have a deep dentin cavity. Now, at what point do you do a restoration, and what type of restoration do you do? Do you do a fissurotomy? Do you do a resin restoration? That's still the clinical judgment of the practitioner.